Welcome to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist and Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist, coming to you live from the Wave Beach Realty Studios in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Call us today at 843-957-3872.
Happy New Year, and as we get the year started, let's get your financial picture in focus by getting a budget and getting those spending habits looked at. Reach out to me at coachwestc@gmail.com and we'll get you off to a good start.
Are you looking to buy a home in North or South Carolina? You need to reach out to Wave Beach Realty today. We are a family-owned company with over 10 years of experience in North and South Carolina and operate along the Grand Strand. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872. This segment is sponsored by Bobby Clary State Farm. Call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right. All right, guys, welcome back into another edition of the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist and Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist.
Episode 25.
Episode 25.
Of Season 2.
We are
a new format.
Quarter of a way to 100.
On just podcast.
Yep.
We've already caught up and passed the radio show.
I know. We're rolling on the podcast. The YouTube
get
videos.
A lot more videos.
Yeah, the video content. I like video content. I'm a video guy myself, so I understand why people prefer that. We've got some shorts. We're doing our travel
love
videos.
Our shorts.
The shorts are good. The restaurant reviews. I'll be doing the coffee shop when we'll go live. Well, by the time you hear this, it will be already live. I'll have that live.
Have you got the last one up from New Zealand yet? You didn't do that.
Those will both be today. That's next on my agenda. And by today, I mean,
I don't understand. I mean, I guess maybe it's my age. I don't understand why these are getting such high hits. Because literally, the one of me just flying to New Zealand, I did that just to learn the program.
I think that was a piggyback off of Hobbiton.
But it had a lot before Hobbiton went up. Not where it ended up at.
I think New Zealand's just a happening.
Because literally, it's just video of the plane and outside the window.
Listen, I don't know the rhyme or reason for that one.
And that one's still the highest, 535 views for that one. The Hobbiton hasn't even caught it yet. And I'm thinking, it wasn't a joke, but I did it just to play with the program. I downloaded the program before I left, CapCut you told me about. Yeah. So I was just playing.
Yeah. It probably just, I think those shorts, when people were scrolling YouTube, they pop up more frequent because they are just quick videos. And if some people related stuff and it just navigates them there.
Then our second one is Hobbiton at 527.
Wes is getting famous, guys. He's going to get too big for his britches here soon and leave me.
My face doesn't appear and I don't even talk on him. It's all music. I picked out music.
Well, maybe you found your call on your travel shorts.
Your trip to the Italian restaurant in Asheville's got 424.
Yeah, shout out Vinny's Italian Restaurant. They had a cool shirt that they didn't have a medium or a large, but they had a small, so Bryn got a small. She's never seen The Godfather, but on the back of the shirt, it has like Vinny's Italian Restaurant, and on the back of the shirt it says, leave the gun, take the cannolis from the one scene. I was like, I have to get one of these shirts. He's like, we don't have a medium or large. I was like, you look like you were about a large. Let me get that one. He wouldn't let me have it. But we bought a medium or small for her. She wore it the other day. I was like, yes, I'm glad we at least brought one of those home. I love that shirt. But anyway,
we had good break.
Yeah, we had a good break.
It's been rough getting back in the studio.
Oh, yeah, it's been a rough
We've
few
had
days
some
here.
technical difficulties. We didn't get recording on the first video. I think this one is recording, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
2025 has hit us like a brick, boys and girls. So let's start with you. My trip was a little shorter, and I can kind of wrap it up pretty quickly. So let's talk about the New Zealand trip. What did you like? What did you not like? Tell me about the food. I'm a foodie guy. Tell me about Hobbiton.
We had all kind of different kind of foods.
I bet you did.
It was the going over wasn't that bad. We traveled about 26 to 27 hours to get over there. And fortunately, the last flight out of LAX was 13 hours. 13 and a half hours. Yeah. 12 and a half hours. Somewhere, I don't know. It was blitzed by then. But I got to sleep some on that one. So when I got there, it was morning in New Zealand. Okay. So we kind of just went through the day, and I went to bed that night, and I seemed to recover pretty good. A couple of days later, I had a little rough time. But my son and his wife had everything just packed. I mean, so we actually drove just about the whole North Island of New Zealand while I was there. So we got there in Auckland. It was a beautiful country. I didn't feel a call to move over there like everybody said you would. I mean, I just didn't. It wasn't that different to me.
Right.
Driving on the wrong side of the road was kind of hard to get in my head because every time they went to turn, I was like, oh, look down. Oh, you got to look that way. It's kind of
that would
get
be
you out of
tough.
whack.
That would be tough.
And then we went south towards Hobbiton, and we stayed at a hot springs place that had a golf course. I played.
Did you?
I was hurt. I was still hurting pretty bad from different muscle injuries. So the first day we all played as a fivesome. We all got. Yeah, because my step granddaughter was with us, so we all five were sitting there trying to hit the golf ball, and the other four had never played golf at all.
Oh no!
Fortunately, there was nobody else around, so we. I think it took us like 20 shots on the first hole, the highest shot total. But the next morning, I got up and went out, and I shot 6 holes walking with clubs I'd never seen before because I didn't have my clubs.
Right.
And it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It was really good. But the whole place, the place was a hotel that had been a hotel since it was first made. It was over 100 years old, I think.
Yeah.
It was a really neat place. Their food was great. They had every night we got a 3-course meal, 4-course meal. A 3 or 4 course meal. They had different places, different things.
Yeah.
The food was great there. I think it showed up on some of the video that we took. But I had everything from those gourmet dinners to, I think you say it, hangi, which was the food they usually put in a pit. We didn't get it in a pit because the uncles of my daughter-in-law's, her uncles had to work, so they couldn't dig the pit and all get it ready. But we still had the same food, and it was really good. And the next day, it kind of shows you the difference. My daughter-in-law is Polynesian. She comes from the island's heritage. So I had a lot of food that they liked. But the next day, we came back from one of our trips up in the north, and we had fish and chips.
Oh, wow.
So literally right out of England.
Yeah, I was going to say big change there.
Big change.
Yeah, I saw the one video you sent with the food. I saw the different things I was like, oh, that all looks good. I love trying new food.
Food was good.
So I'll try anything.
Really, all of it was really good. And I went to the last day. We went to the Sky Tower. Okay. Which is the highest structure in the southern hemisphere.
Oh, wow.
And you go up, and I forget how many floors it is, 56, 57. It's way up there.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like the Seattle Needle.
The Space Needle, yeah.
Space Needle, but not as big.
Okay.
But the restaurant there turns. So my son took my wife and I to the restaurant, and literally in about an hour we did 360 degrees, so it doesn't move very fast, but you got to see all of Auckland. And the food, I'll be honest, when I looked at the menu down in the lobby, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be terrible.
Was it terrible?
No, it was delicious. It's food I usually don't eat. So they really made it good. So
that's
you
awesome.
would have loved it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I love food, and trying new things. I would have
probably
had a
the
field day.
second best food was the second breakfast at Hobbiton. I know you don't know what that is, but it's a big deal in the Hobbit's life to have second breakfast. Okay. So we did the tour of the Hobbiton, and then we sat down for second breakfast.
Okay.
So
very cool.
That's just a highlight. We can talk more about it as we continue the podcast, but I want to hear a little bit about your trips.
Yeah, so I went to Asheville. I'd actually booked this trip before all the craziness with the storm happened and all the flooding, but I didn't want to cancel it as long as I was still had a place to stay. And the main road, I think it was Highway 221 going through Asheville up into Marion is actually where I stayed, Marion, North Carolina. It was about 40 minutes outside of Asheville. And we got there. The directions would only take me so far because of that 221 being closed, so I had to take some back roads to get up the mountain, which I figured out pretty quickly. We didn't get lost. She sent me some directions. She said, when you get to this place, do this, and I went up the mountain, found the cabin. Beautiful cabin up in Marion. I mean, beautiful view, like a 2-story, like A-frame cabin. You'd wrap around deck. The first day, right when we got there, the sun was setting because I got there in the evening. The rest of the time there, it was so foggy, I couldn't even enjoy the view most of the time. But really? The first night, right when I got there, the sun was setting. We got really pretty photos, and I think in one of my videos that I posted, it showed that. So the first night, we just kind of hung out because it was about a 6-hour drive, 5.5 hours to get up there. Went back. We went down to Asheville. As I was driving down, where some of the roads were closed, you could see where some of the mountain and where the rain had washed away stuff and part of the roads, and there was no more of any of the homes that were destroyed, at least in that general area. They had cleaned them up now where you couldn't see that, and there were some temporary homes set out. I went to a couple different restaurants. The people there seem nice, and you can tell they're just in a rebuilding stage and just happy to kind of start getting back to a normal, which was nice to see. It was nice to see just kind of the perseverance of that area to get back to a normal. Bryn was not happy that when we went to the grocery store so we could cook some stuff at the cabin the first night. She was not excited that we went to a Whole Foods. She's not a Whole Foods type of girl.
Really?
And the organic ketchups and everything, all the organic stuff. She was like, I don't know what to buy in here. There's nothing I want. I was like, all right, well, you're going to have to eat healthy tonight. I'm sorry. So that was kind of funny. But then the one day we went out and kind of ventured around Asheville and just kind of explored and went around the mountains a little bit. And then we went to the Vinny's Italian restaurant because that was like kind of close to where the Biltmore was. We went back down to Asheville. That was like right in downtown. It was like ranked one of the number 1 or 2 restaurants in Asheville. The service was great. Food was really good. She always gets chicken Alfredo. That's like her only pasta dish, chicken Alfredo.
It's good though.
And they had baked ziti, which a lot of Italian restaurants around here, even in Myrtle Beach, they have everything on the menu. You never see baked ziti.
Really?
Yeah, I never see baked ziti on a menu. So I was like, I got to get the ziti. It was delicious. And so we had that, had a couple drinks, and then went at 8 o'clock was our tour of the Biltmore house. And I had never been for Christmas. I've been to the Biltmore house 3 or 4 times probably in my life, usually when I was younger. That was the first time I'd been during Christmas. They had it decorated all nicely. It had a nice Christmas feel to it, all the fireplaces going and everything. They had opened up a couple different more rooms than the last time I was there.
Oh, okay.
But I would say still 40% of the Biltmore home isn't even accessible. They don't even have it open, because they're still doing ongoing renovations all the time to it. So anytime you go back, if you wait long enough, you'll see something you probably didn't see last time. So it was always pretty interesting, and it blows my mind that somebody actually lived in a home that big.
It looks like you just missed Angie Harmon. I don't know if you know who Angie Harmon is. Mm-mm. She's been on Law and Order, and she was
okay. She probably did a private tour where they shut down the whole Biltmore for her, though.
I don't think it looked like she did. I don't know if any of these rooms.
That was the dining room. That was one of the prettiest rooms in the house.
But she'd never been there, so she was saying how excited she was to be there.
It's very cool. Yep. It was very cool. A lot of it's still original. They did like some of the rooms they had to restore and brought like all these architects in to like restore it to how it would have been. Because a lot of the house actually, when he passed away, Mr. Vanderbilt, the home wasn't complete. There were still parts of the home that he had wanted to finish out, and so they with what his designs were, they finished a lot of it.
Oh wow!
And then all the stuff that he had was already complete. They tried to leave as original as possible, and it's just really it's crazy. It had like servants' quarters and the swimming pools.
Was it built from scratch there, or it was? I don't know the story. Built one.
I don't know, I mean, it was built on site there from scratch. Okay. Yeah, there was like some of the original blueprints and stuff they have there, which is really cool. There's like one room that you go through that they just dedicated to like. They have like little signs up with little different things like snippets about the home and all the architects and everything. Right. That's like one room's just dedicated to all that. It's very cool though. I mean, just the architecture's gorgeous. The home is massive. I mean, if the whole home was open, I guarantee you could spend 6 or 7 hours walking through it and not see it all. That's how big that house. I mean, it's tens of thousands of square feet. It's they've got a whole village there and a winery. I mean, they've built that. I mean, you drive just to get from the main road when you go through the gate to get back to the Biltmore. It's probably a 10 or 12 minute drive to get back to where the house is off of the main road. I mean, it is out by itself. They wanted true seclusion,
and it didn't get hit with the storm at all.
It was closed down, but I think it was closed down just because of workers and everybody not able to access roads to get there. I don't think it had any damage from the storm that I'm aware of.
I know the city near it or little town that's built up around it or what.
Yeah, it got hit.
I think I heard the Biltmore didn't get hit at all.
Yeah, but they bounced back pretty. I'm sure I admit there were some areas I probably could have driven to that I'm not aware of that may have been hit worse, but overall they've recovered well. When life gets unpredictable, turn to a partner you can trust. At Bobby Clary State Farm, we've got you covered. Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, we're dedicated to providing personalized coverage that fits your needs. With our friendly and knowledgeable team, navigating your insurance options have never been easier. Visit bobbyclary.com or call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right. Are you looking to buy a property in North or South Carolina and need financing assistance? Give Motto Mortgage Coastal Pros a call today. We specialize in residential loans in both North and South Carolina and can meet all your residential home loan needs. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872.
If you like the economics part of the show, then check out my podcast, Econ Sense. You can find it on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts.
You're listening to the Dollars and Cents Radio Show with Jonathan Edmond and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to send us your topics and feedback at dollarscentsgs@gmail.com.
This segment brought to you by Eisenhower Dental. Reach out to them at 843-234-3110.
Yeah, so then after that night, we went home that night, and where we were staying was pretty secluded and far from everything, which is kind of what I wanted. So the last day, we just kind of recharged. I had the phone off, wasn't doing work emails. Just there was college football on that last day I was there,
Yeah.
so I watched a little bit of college football, and then we made the trek back, and it was a nice little getaway. It was nice to just kind of recharge to start the new year, and I really needed that, and she enjoyed it, and we had a good time. And
yeah, if you're listening and want to see the highlights, he does have a video up with him traveling up there on the reels and shorts. I'm not sure go to the playlist under.
If you go to the playlist, if you go to our go to the Dollars and Cents podcast, and if you go under the playlist, you'll see a travel playlist, restaurant review playlist, and there's one other playlist that I'm drawing a blank on.
Intro, but we've only got one of those.
Yeah, so
when we first started this.
Yeah, so if you go under the travel playlist, you'll see the drive up there, and then the cabin I stayed in, and the beautiful view from it, and the Biltmore is actually on there. I think I have a small snippet of about every room I went in. I just kept taking a little snippet. The video quality isn't the best because I should have zoomed out or in to make the light kind of better. But because it wasn't super bright in the
restaurant under that because you're traveling for that restaurant. It's not a local restaurant.
Yes, so that's under travel too. And Vinny's, if you're ever up in Asheville, if you're ever up in Asheville, stop by Vinny's, go get you some baked ziti. Tell them Jonathan sent you, and if they have the medium or large shirts and you want to bring one back to me to Myrtle Beach, you can do that as well. I'll give you my mailing address.
Cool.
So anyway, anything else about New Zealand? My trip was a lot shorter than yours, so I don't have.
Mine was 10, 11 days. I mean, again, it was nice to see. We'll probably go back again some point, but the travel was rough. About halfway, about 6 hours left on the flight from LAX. I told my wife I'm not gonna make it. I was hurt so bad, and it was terrible. But again, I recovered pretty good when we got over there. Yeah. But my son, again, had us going up and down. So I told you about Hobbiton. That was great. That's, again, since you're not a sci-fi guy, it doesn't mean much to you. But it was really neat walking through there. And they actually, you're talking about how the Biltmore, they did some more rooms based on the blueprints. With Hobbiton, when Peter Jackson filmed the first one and The Hobbit, actually, the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, they just had the outside of the places, and there was like 6 meters inside for them to get in and decorate the inside, so you can see it from the outside. But over the last, they said about 7 years ago, they completed a project where they went into 2 of the Hobbit's houses and actually made them into what in the books it would look like. So they literally put all these things together, and on my video, if you watch it on Hobbiton, you'll see the bunk beds and all. So all that wasn't for the movie. They actually went into the books and made all the items that would have been in a Hobbit quote-unquote house.
Okay. Well, that's
so it's pretty cool to walk through. And they gave you like 15-20 minutes to walk through and take pictures and everything. Just for your information, a Hobbit is a short person, so everything's Hobbit size.
Yep.
So that was really cool.
I would have done well in there. I probably wouldn't have to duck down or anything.
I didn't have to duck much, so no, probably not. Yeah. So then we left there, went back to Auckland. Auckland, I will say, this will be an odd take on New Zealand, but the first night we ate, we went down to a place called Elmo's. My son wanted to take us. It's supposed to be a happening place. It was neat. We got some kind of brickstone pizza and some other appetizers and all. It was nice. But we went into the main part of downtown, and it was the country is so clean. It's just, I couldn't get over how clean this a city of 1 million people was. I mean, compared to here, I mean, it's just amazing. So, but I had to use the restroom. You know how public restrooms are. I thought I tried to go into a big city's restroom. You could eat off the floor in there.
Really?
The whole time I was in New Zealand, I did not find a dirty bathroom anywhere.
That's wild.
It's really wild. It's one of the things I told on the way back. I'm like, one thing I won't miss is being able to go to a restroom somewhere
in public.
And literally, they've just cleaned. I mean, it's amazing, the culture.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a silly thing to stand out.
I mean, that would stand out to me too, because you just don't see that in America.
No, you don't. I literally never saw any kind of mess in the bathroom, and it wasn't like it was being cleaned every second. I mean, people just actually care about their hygiene.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing.
So then we went north, and it got more into Polynesian country, into culture. We actually went to the place, and I've got a video on it. I cannot say the name. It's that Pompano Beach video you put up for me.
Yep.
And literally, it's where the first guy from the islands came into New Zealand in the first settlements.
Okay.
And so we went through a whole tour about how that happened. And it was really interesting. It also, I don't know if everybody caught it who was going through it with us, but it also showed you the barbaricness of some of these people. The guy literally, according to what they told us, he sacrificed his child in the mountains on that, right across the water from us. And I just like, what? Why are you telling people this? I don't think I tell people.
Yeah.
But the whole culture is very interesting to me. I love studying other cultures anyway.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So that was really neat. And then I don't have a video up on it, but the next day we went to a beach, and nobody was there. It just came in the summer there, so it was very warm out, but the water was still cold. So there was a lot of people on this beach, but beaches like you'd see in the Caribbean, but there was nobody there.
Yeah,
it's just nobody. It was so far out in the boondocks that it just
it's just not working.
I mean, there was a few people hanging out and all, and then we're on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
And as we were getting ready to go, and my daughter-in-law's mother was like, "Oh, don't look down that way." So we didn't look, and then we got back to the car, and she said somebody was changing on the beach.
Yeah.
And then she got this funny look on her face. She says, "Oh, gracious, I forgot. This is a nude beach."
Oh.
Beach.
Yeah, that's an important piece of information to usually not leave out.
So fortunately we weren't there to tell people that we didn't get any views of anything.
Yeah.
But it just again goes to different culture to me.
Yeah.
The other thing that struck me as we drove up to that beach was this big tower that reminded me of the towers you see in the movies when they were setting off nuclear bombs.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a siren, and as I got closer, and I think it may be my video, I got a picture of it, it showed up in the video, but it was tsunami warning.
Oh,
and literally it gave a map of the area and where the first time it would hit. You didn't have any time to react, get out of there quickly.
Yeah.
And then it showed you where to go in case for tsunami. Wow. Kind of just brought home to where you're really at.
Yeah, that's
because that is part of the Pacific Rim Ring of Fire.
Yeah. Wow.
So, besides that, I mean, I told you about the tower. That was neat. And just hanging out with my son was the most important thing.
Yeah,
he piled us full of stuff, but some of it got canceled because of timing, which I'm kind of glad because I really went to see my son and his wife, and my step granddaughter.
Yeah,
and so we had a good time with them.
That's good. No, I'm glad you were able to go over there and see them then. But it sounds like I may have to make a trip out there sometime to see it because I obviously got a lot of traveling to do. But that's a journey there.
Coming back, today's Friday. I got back a week ago today. This week has been hard.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, that's
a huge time difference.
You're
losing an entire half of a day in time.
Well, the problem coming back too is we traveled about 28 hours over. Mm-hmm. It took us about 35 hours back. Every flight was delayed. Fortunately, I didn't miss a connection, but the last flight in Atlanta coming back last Friday night, I actually got home Saturday.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to fly out at 8:30, and we flew out at 12:30.
Oh. Atlanta airport,
and that was after all that traveling, and we never got any sleep on any plane. We just couldn't sleep on any other legs. So it was rough.
Yeah,
it's been a rough week. I'm glad I gave myself time before I had to go back to teach.
Yeah, good call there. Good call. That would have been really rough to come back.
So we won't be going back next year. Maybe a little while. I think that's one of my twins that lives there. So his twin is thinking about going back next year after to see him.
Okay, so very cool.
And my son from New Zealand's coming back over here for a reconnect in Denver, so hopefully I'll get to see him.
There you go.
A few days next year.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome.
So, but you said you got a trip planned coming up, New York.
Yeah.
Last podcast you were mentioning that.
Yeah. So I'm taking my mom's always been a big fan of New York. She likes just going to the city every now and then and exploring, and she goes to the Broadway shows and stuff like that. So. Bryn likes it too, so I was like, well, let's book a little trip. I didn't really plan to have all these trips right back to back like this. Luckily, this time of year, I'm a little slower, so I can sneak it. We were only gone for a few days. It's not like I'm gone for a week or something, but yeah, we're flying out on the 13th. We'll be back on the 16th, so we'll have a couple full days there which it's an hour and 20-minute flight. It's an easy flight to get up there. Yeah, I think the flight back's a little bit longer, but
is it a direct flight?
Yeah, Myrtle to LaGuardia.
Is it a major airline or
Delta?
Delta. Okay.
Yeah. So
Can you
straight.
fly on the other airline, Spirit?
I've flown on Spirit. By the time you pay the bag fees and everything that Spirit hits you with, I feel like I end up the same. I mean,
Okay.
the card that I use, my business credit card, that's like the recommended airline, so I get a little bit of a discount on Delta flights.
All right.
So for using that card. And same thing with hotel rooms for like Marriott's and stuff like that. So I use that for that reason. But I will say Delta, as far as airline goes, very few delays. I mean, it's very rare that I run into an issue. I mean, now I'll probably have a 10-hour delay at Myrtle Beach when I go on the 13th because I said that.
They have a balloon coming through our drone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to wait till it passes by since the government's scared of it and won't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, so I'll be in New York for a few days, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Unfortunately, at this point, I don't have anything planned. The next plan is to hopefully fish the Rock Bowling Tournament again this summer.
There you go.
Maybe. Depends on what my summer schedule is at college.
Yeah. From March, April, May, June, July, August, those 6 months, I will not go anywhere. I'll be working nonstop.
That's your busiest time?
March to September, October, roughly. But I have one trip planned to Colorado in September, and that other than that,
skiing or
no, actually no. One of Bryn's favorite country artists, this girl she loves, was going on tour, and she's like, "Oh, I want to go so bad," which was a weird way of just saying, "Hey, I want you to buy me tickets to this concert." She actually sent me the day they went on sale. She was like, "Look, her tickets are going on sale." I'm like, "Why don't you just ask me to buy you a ticket?" So for Christmas, I was like, and it was kind of a birthday / Christmas present. I was like, I'm going to buy her tickets. So anyway, I went and I stayed in this queue for these tickets to go on sale. Got the tickets. They actually weren't too bad when you buy them original and not not on the secondary market.
Yeah.
And so I got the tickets. And she had a bunch of tour dates, and there were like all these cities, and I was like, okay, Nashville, whatever. There's all these different cities, and then there was this one city in Colorado, and I was like, I don't know what that city is. Like, why would she go to this random city? Well, that's where Red Rocks is, the venue Red Rocks, which is like this big, beautiful venue out in Colorado, just outside of Denver. And I was like, oh, that's Red Rocks. I was like, I've always heard of that venue, and I've heard it's gorgeous, and because it's all outside, it's got natural like speaker. You don't have to there's no speakers. It's just like the what do you call it? The sound. The sound there is just the acoustics there are just like perfect. So and it just the background is like all these like red rock. I was like, okay, that would be really cool. So like if I'm gonna get to pick where we go, and it's her artist that she wants to see, I'm going there. So and I've never been to Colorado, so I was like, let's do that. And so she was excited for that. Cool. So we'll do that in September. But until then, after this little New York 3-day thing.
I'll probably March. I'll do something. I'm not sure where I'll go, and then I have another week off in July. I'll do something in August. So that's my travel times.
There you go.
Because once I hit August, I'm not free again until Christmas.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun.
So we'll see what head. I'm a little overflying anyway right now, so maybe we'll have to wait to take a flight.
Yeah, I hear you.
Unless somebody wants to send us to the Caribbean, then I'm always up for a flight to the Caribbean.
There you go. Well, if you know somebody that wants to send you there for free, let me know because I'd like to get in on that.
Dollars and Cents remote podcast from the Dominican Republic.
Right, coming to you live from the Dominican, right? Coming to you live from the Dominican.
When I went to Dominican last year, I went to Bahibe, which is a fishing village, which is very little tourists stay there. A bunch of tourists come in to get the boats.
Yeah.
It's like, literally all these charter buses would come in the morning.
Okay.
Hundreds, if not thousands of people would come and get on boats and go out and come back in, and they'd leave. So at night, there wasn't a lot of people there. So it was really cool to be.
That is neat.
So I like places like that better than the.
Oh yeah, they're just like right in the middle of the touristy stuff. Yeah, I want to stay off the beaten path a little bit, explore the culture of where I'm at. That's what I enjoy.
I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, we'll see you back here on Friday for talking football.
Football.
We might get a different clientele listening there, different people listening.
Yeah.
We'll see what it takes are.
Yeah. Well, we'll get right into it. We'll see you guys next time.
Eisenhower Dental, located at 107 Waccamaw Medical Park Drive in Conway, a place where you can find all your dental services, including general dentistry, cosmetic, restorative, and pediatric dentistry. Reach out to them today at their website, eisenhowerdental.com, or call them at 843-234-3110. 843-234-3110 and tell them Wes the Economist sent you.
Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to send us your topics and give us feedback at dollarscentsgs@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram and X at dollarscentsgs. You can follow us on Facebook at Dollars and Cents. Listen to us on the podcast format at Dollars and Cents Podcast, and you can also find us on YouTube at the Dollars and Cents Podcast. Are you looking to buy a home in North or South Carolina? You need to reach out to Wave Beach Realty today. We are a family-owned company with over 10 years of experience in North and South Carolina and operate along the Grand Strand. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872.
The holidays are almost here, so it's time to get your financial picture wrapped up so you can have a great Christmas and a happy new year. Reach out to me at coachwestc@gmail.com to get some financial coaching.